You're watching CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown.
Hello, I'm Juan Fernandez. Here's a look at your top stories. Officials have grounded the entire Boeing 737 MAX 9 fleet after that mid-air blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight. Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
These Boeing 737 MAX 9 jetliners aren't leaving the ground. The FAA ordered 171 of the planes pulled out of service, forcing hundreds of cancellations for Alaska Airlines and United Monday, while investigators try to determine what caused a door panel to blow out during an Alaska Airlines flight Friday night.
Alaska, copy to declare an emergency. We're descending down to 10,000 and we need to return back to Portland.
It happened at about 16,000 feet shortly after taking off from Portland, leaving a gaping hole in the aircraft. The force was so great, it pulled off a passenger's shirt and ripped open the locked, fortified cockpit door 26 rows away. Nicholas Hoke was on the flight.
A loud boom, or almost like a mini explosion, happens abruptly.
The so-called plug door was recovered in a school teacher's backyard. The panel is put in place of an optional emergency exit on some 737s.
When they install it, it is really not something that becomes an inspection item. From the inside of the airplane, you really cannot even tell that there is anything different about that location.
Investigators will spend another day poring over the airplane. You can see it back behind us here, with particular focus on that area where the 63-pound piece of the airplane blew out. On 3 separate occasions in the last month, pilots flying the weeks-old plane reported pressurization warning lights, including on January 4th, the day before the incident. Alaska then restricted the airplane to fly only over land while it tried to troubleshoot the problem.
They'll be looking at the totality of the circumstances to see why this happened.
Boeing is planning a safety summit on Tuesday. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Portland.
And earlier today, United confirmed that during its preliminary inspection of its grounded 737 MAX 9 airliners, it did find loose bolts on door plugs on several of those planes. Now to developing news. LA City Councilman Curran Price has pleaded not guilty to corruption charges. He was arraigned just moments ago. Price is accused of embezzlement, perjury, and conflict of interest. The charges stem from allegations that Price voted on projects tied to his wife's consulting business without reporting the connection. Price is due back in court the 1st of March. And the search continues for a driver behind 2 hit-and-run crashes in Anaheim, leaving 3 people hurt and 1 woman dead. Kcal News reporter Michelle Geely working on that story.
So you can see that this part of Anaheim, Harbor Boulevard and Kcal is busy. We often see tourists from Disneyland in this general area. There are lots of restaurants and hotels, and Disneyland is catty corner from where I'm standing here. Friday night, there was a double traffic accident, a double TC hit and run. And Anaheim police are still on the lookout for that driver. They say that he is in a tan or a gold, either a Corolla or a Toyota Camry. So here is how police are describing this. This intersection right behind me here, there was a family of 3 crossing, and this driver hit the family. Minor to moderate injuries there. Then about a block away, as he was leaving this scene, the hit and run driver, according to police, hit a car, then hit a bus, and then ran into a homeless woman who was pushing a stroller with her belongings. She died. She has been identified as 75-year-old Judith Stanford, and we today are going to try to track down people in the area who may know her. We think that she lived for some time at a local motel. So we're going to see if there's anyone at that location that may know something about Judith Stanford. So again, Anaheim police still on the lookout for this hit and run driver who really wreaked havoc here behind me in the resort area. This is the Disneyland Resort area in Anaheim. Again, we don't have a motive. We don't know whether this was intentional. We don't know whether he was driving under the influence or why it was that he hit these particular people. But another interesting fact that police say, a man who had a guitar swung that guitar at the driver's car to try to get him to stop in between the first traffic collision and the second one. So there were a lot of witnesses to what was going on because, as I said, this is a very popular spot, always tourists here coming and going from Disneyland. So we'll bring you the latest later on Kcal News.
All right, turning now to the weather. Very cold and very windy out there on this Monday. You're looking live at the slopes in Big Bear this afternoon with plenty of snow out there as well. But what can we expect for the rest of the week? Kcal meteorologist Marina Jurica has your next weather forecast. Marina.
Thanks, Juan. Well, more of the same, really. We're not going to get too much colder than what we saw this morning. Our coldest temperatures of the season will come overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then we'll stay pretty static as we head into the rest of the week. So just grab those winter coats. You're going to need them for the stretch. This morning, Lake Arrowhead 21, Palmdale 23, Hemet 32, Chino Hills 32, and Camarillo 35. And as we move into the overnight tonight, you can chisel about 5 or 6 degrees more off as this cold air mass just basically sets up shop right on top of us. And currently right now, a lot of us struggling to even get into the 60s, believe it or not, with 57 at LAX. We've got 57 in Simi Valley and Santa Clarita checking in at 56, 49 in Palmdale, 32 right now in Big Bear City, 59 in San Bernardino and Riverside, 61 in Laguna Beach, 62 in Fullerton, and 60 in Malibu. So a little warmer along the coastline, but the further inland you go, the much cooler it gets. And that'll be pretty much the setup as we move forward. For the next few hours here in Orange County, we'll be looking at 61 degrees at 4, 54 at 6 o'clock as you're heading out and about for dinner. And then overnight tonight, those 40s will be returning. And so that's why we have a freeze warning in effect throughout pretty much the entire Inland Empire, and moving up into portions of Ventura County as well as northern LA County. And so we will see these areas with the coldest temperatures overnight tonight and into tomorrow, anywhere from about 28 to 33 degrees. So you'll see a lot of frost, a lot of freezing. You might even have to scrape your windshields, believe it or not, in these locations as you wake up on your Tuesday morning. But highs today are going to be pretty much right now, and we're going to be looking at the low 60s in the valleys, LA and OC Metro and beaches, and then the upper 50s in the Inland Empire, right around 50 for the high desert, and 34 in the mountains. And then the extended, you can see we're not really shifting much. We're seeing our highs staying in the low to mid 60s. We have a dry cold front coming in on Wednesday. That's going to really reinforce that cooler air. And then a slight chance possibly on Saturday and Sunday for some rain. It will be light if it does push into our region, but that's also just going to keep our temperatures in check as we stay unseasonably cool for the stretch. Juan.
Feel it. Thank you, Marina. Thank you so much. And this has been CBS News Los Angeles, The Rundown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Juan Fernandez. We'll be back here live at 4 on CBS News Los Angeles.
CBS News Los Angeles, your local news, streaming wherever, whenever.